What up, Audionots? Welcome into a brand new episode of Audionots, your purveyors of pop culture. I am Eric Oldboy, alongside the always suave Mr. Rin. How are you today?
Good.
What's been going on? Anything good?
The usual pop culture, reading, writing,
Nice.
looking, listening.
Listening to all the news that is what it is. Yeah, there's so much less Star Wars and less Marvel right now. That's like we have to actually like talk about other things.
Wait, there is Star Wars though.
A little bit of Star Wars. Actually, I think at the very beginning, I don't know what you want to talk about, but I have at the very beginning of our healthy stream, I've got a little hot Star Wars talk.
Shout out to your wife. She loves that session.
She hates it, and I like to talk about it every time. We were at the gym yesterday, and she was, I think, 2 episodes behind. I told her, "Oh yeah," I go, "We haven't really talked about Star Wars at all. You're really gonna like this episode." And so she's next to me, and she pulls out her earphone. We're on like the treadmills, and she's like, "You're still talking about Star Wars?" I'm like, "But only for a minute, right?" She goes, "No, for like half the episode." I'm like, "Oh, you're behind." I go, "Yeah, that episode had a lot of Star Wars."
Yeah.
But it's not always that way. Only when you're lucky. So with that, I want to jump right in, take a swim in the healthy stream. Disney Plus put out a brand new trailer today or yesterday for Clone Wars, the final season. Have you watched Clone Wars too much?
No, I haven't. Our Star Wars guru told us to watch it, but I watched like 2 episodes.
Yeah, he actually sent us a list that said this is the proper order to watch them in. You don't want to watch them in release order, but there's some sort of special order, and I think it's basically timeline order of how things happen via the timeline on the show. And I've been watching it more ever since. So I watched it the first handful of episodes, then the movie, because they have a full movie. And then I kind of quit watching it, and I saw that trailer, and that trailer actually got me pretty hype. I'm like, wow. I think you kind of pointed out that it was like the music.
The music, man.
The music was good.
I feel like after watching that trailer, I haven't seen any of the other seasons.
Yeah.
But they're kind of showcasing Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Like kind of like foreshadowing what they're going to do next.
I feel like Ahsoka is like maybe the next character we'll actually see brought to the big screen.
Yeah.
I was like, so if you were in charge, Mr. Rin, I've just hired you for the casting of the Ahsoka Star Wars movie. Do you have any ideas? Have you thought about who would be that part?
Well, I haven't seen the show, so I don't know how old she is.
So, at least where I'm at, she seems pretty young, almost like a teen, a
because
preteen.
she's an apprentice, right?
Yeah, she's a Padawan.
Yeah.
But from that trailer, it looks like she's maybe aged some between the episodes of the show. And so I was suspecting you probably cast someone younger to older. I mean, I guess the real question, the beautiful thing about Star Wars is not everybody has an ethnicity. They're alien. But would you cast like a black lady or a white lady in the position? Because I feel like you get like the right black lady, it'd be perfect.
I have one.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm looking her up right now because...
Okay, while you look her up, can I give you my thought?
Okay.
So my family and I watch a show. Have you ever heard of Blackish?
Yeah.
So the oldest daughter on Blackish?
Mm-hmm.
I think she would be great. I don't know how she seems like a good enough actress on that show. And they gave her, in fact, she was good enough, they gave her own spin-off called Grownish. They have a million versions of that show.
What the heck?
But I really like her as an actress. If you like did her in the Ahsoka like makeup and I don't know special effects, I think she might be a perfect fit age-wise, look-wise.
I'm trying to find that one lady. I don't know her name, but
what is she in?
She was cast as Iris West in The Flash.
Oh, well, I don't watch The Flash.
The movie The Flash, right?
Oh,
the movie version.
Yeah,
where she was supposed to be in Justice League, but they cut her out.
What about Zendaya?
No.
I mean,
she's too much into like she's in Marvel. She's Mary Jane.
That's okay. Marvel and Star Wars are 2 different things. Zendaya is a great actress. I don't know if you ever watched that show she was on HBO.
Euphoria?
Zoophoria. That'd be funny. It'd be like Zootopia and Euphoria mixed together.
Yeah.
And it's just like the rabbit doing a lot of ecstasy. Euphoria is like a show you should not let your kids anywhere near, but it's a pretty well done show, and she's a really good actress too. So there you go. I've already come up with two. You've yet to name one.
Okay, I got one.
Okay,
I can't pronounce her name though.
Oh, great. Another one of these?
You can read for me.
Well, maybe I can't pronounce her name. Kirstie Clemens.
Yeah.
She's really pretty. What's she in? I don't even recognize
I
her.
don't know, but she was cast as the Flash's girlfriend in the
Yeah?
Justice League movie.
What about, now I'm thinking of all sorts of actresses. What about the woman that plays Domino on Deadpool? She's been in a lot of things as kind of a smaller actress.
Oh yeah, she was also in Joker.
She's so sassy. She might be, she was in the Joker. That's right. She's so sassy. She might be perfect too. Because I think you could probably put her in, because Deadpool and I would imagine, well, that's still Marvel. I'm doing the same thing you did. Marvel and Star Wars aren't the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. So if Kevin Feige and the Star Wars peeps are listening, all four of those would be excellent choices.
But she doesn't have to be black though.
She doesn't have to be, but like when I watched the cartoon, I just kind of imagined, because I'm like that too. When I watch animated stuff, I'm like, who would I cast as the real people actors? And I guess I just always kind of imagined it being a black actress.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the fact is she's an alien, so it could be anybody.
You're right.
But I don't know. I'm with you. That's kind of like the feeling I had as well.
Because like in Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
Gamora.
Yeah, Gamora.
She's green.
She's green.
Yeah, and this one should be orange.
Wait, what? They're changing Gamora's color?
No, I mean if they cast.
Oh, you're talking about Ahsoka?
Ahsoka, yeah.
Ahsoka's a cool ass name too. I guess maybe the way they've drawn her, she just had maybe some of that look, you know? And I'm like, that's cool. I mean, there's so many good actresses out there who get that kind of opportunity for the big screen.
Yeah.
You know, the last thing they should do is casting more freaking English actors. Because I feel like somehow England's so small population-wise compared to the rest of the world, but by the time we get to the future, it's all people with English accents.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell's going on there? I don't understand. But yeah, I really enjoy Clone Wars, and I'm excited for the final season. I have a ways to go though, because I'm like you, I'm way behind. The only thing that's bothering me, I don't know if you've seen enough to have likes and dislikes of the show yet, but honestly, the only thing that I don't really like about the Clone Wars animated series is the nicknames. They sit there, and maybe because this is partially made for kids because it's an animated series, they all have like nicknames for each other. Like Ahsoka calls what's his face, Skywalker, Anakin. Yeah, she calls Anakin Sky Guy, and I just hate it so much.
Sky Guy.
She's like, "What up, Sky Guy? Let's go get him, Sky Guy." And he calls her like Snips. I'm like, what? I didn't even like. I must not have been paying enough attention because I missed what Snips even meant. So he calls her Snips, and then one time they called Yoda some funny name. Instead of just calling him Yoda, she's like Yoda lady, who I don't know. It was something stupid. But I'm like, I wish with all the stupid nicknames.
Well, it's made for kids, probably. Yeah.
Well, it is made for kids, but it's made for everybody. It's a well done animated show. So yeah, that comes out the final season, according to Disney Plus, comes out on February 21st. So that's something to look forward to. Moving over to our buddies at Netflix, they have a show coming out on February 27th that you might be interested in. I'm not certain about me, but they're making a computer animated version of Pokemon. Have you seen that trailer?
Wait, is that the Mewtwo one?
Yes, Mewtwo cometh.
Strikes back.
Yeah.
Evolution.
Mewtwo is here to kill everyone.
Wait, that's a Netflix one?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like a movie or something.
No, it's a television show. What was cool about this, what kind of caught my eye is I'm definitely not as entranced with Pokemon as you are.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with it. I think I was just in the wrong age group.
Yeah, it was my age group.
Yeah, for sure. And so I didn't really experience Pokemon for the first time until Pokemon Go came out. And then you got me into that, and then I'm running around town like an a-hole trying to catch them all. And so that was kind of fun. And it was enough for me to get to know the characters. I still call them all by the wrong names, but it was enough for me to kind of understand the concept, get the characters. My son, Boy Danger, watched the cartoon, so I saw a few episodes of the cartoon here and there. But I really ended up enjoying Pokemon Detective, or Detective Pikachu, Final Answer. And so this animated series, they seem to have stylized the computer animation off of that Detective Pikachu, I think.
Yeah.
Because all the characters look very similar.
Well, the thing is, they made a movie like Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Like 2D animation. And this is kind of like a remake of it.
Oh,
It seems like, yeah.
maybe someone said, I know how to make more money. Let's take this animated movie and make a series out of it. I never saw the movie. Was it good?
Yeah. I mean, it came out like a while back. But like, the originals, and that movie has all the originals.
All the OGs.
Yeah.
So Mewtwo, from like my limited understanding from the Detective Pikachu movie, is just a bad guy that was created in a lab.
Well, he's not really bad because basically they got Mew, the Pokemon Mew, which is very like a legendary Pokemon.
Yeah.
And they use its DNA to create Mewtwo. So they want to use him for power, but he broke free, and I am my own person or
Right.
Pokemon and stuff like that.
But it was hard to tell from. I wasn't sure. Did you say you saw the trailer for this new show?
Yeah, I did.
Is he the bad guy in this version of it?
It
Or is
seems
he-
like it, right? Because he's like, come here and battle me.
Maybe it's like one of these deals where he's a bad guy until they, shake him.
Yeah.
Listen to me, Mewtwo. You don't want to be a bad guy. Catch them all.
There's a greater evil out there.
How come all the Pokemon don't like revolt and go after the people that keep shoving them in balls?
I don't know, man. Technology.
Get in my balls. That's what he should say. What's his name? The main guy?
Ash.
Ashhole. So yeah, what Ash is just like, get in my balls, and he's just like grabbing at him. Oh, either way, I guess I don't know it well enough. But yeah, so computer animated Pokemon is coming out only 6 days after season finale of our last season of Clone Wars. So a lot of good animation if that's what you're into. Also, since we're on the animated tip, Netflix. No, excuse me, I'm a liar. Well, no, let's do it. Netflix is coming out with an animated Witcher series.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. You're definitely more of the Witcher guy as well. You're my
Yeah.
Witcher expert. I don't think there's been a trailer yet, but you've heard some news.
Yeah, it's been announced, but nothing's since nothing's been like said or shown or anything.
Right. What is the what was the people who made it? What else did they make?
Well, they say they also made Voltron. That's on Netflix. And it's DreamWorks, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So that they make Kipo and
Yeah.
there was some other big one,
They made like Legend Korra.
Legend of Korra.
Yeah, because the animation style of Legend of Korra and Voltron are very similar.
Yeah.
And the tone and the jokes are all like pretty similar. That's why I like both of them.
Right. Do you think that they'll use the same voices as the TV show? Or do you think it's too expensive to pay Harry Cavill not to be beautiful on screen?
That's probably why they're doing the animation, and they're like, we can't pay him that much money, so we got to do animation.
Well, what was kind of cool is I guess Netflix, whoever's in charge of Netflix has got a pretty good melon on his shoulders. He's thinking hard. And with his wise, or her, I don't know actually who's in charge, so I don't want to guess the sex.
Yeah.
Whoever's in charge of Netflix was wise enough when they picked up The Witcher that they actually greenlit the animated series before the first season even came out. And so they're banking on this thing being kind of their bread and butter, I think,
Yeah.
for a bit.
Maybe they're trying to do, like Star Wars does, where Star Wars has their movies, their show, and their animation, and it's all canon now.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get all the medias, probably.
And it's really cool kind of seeing like the birth of this canon world that was only been based kind of in the smaller books and video game side of things, moving into this bigger media. And so, yeah, I think they said they actually were so excited with the way the animated series was turning out that they pushed it up a little bit. So it comes out this year,
Oh, nice.
2020, kind of keep us satisfied until season 2 of the regular Witcher comes out in 2021.
Right.
So I was like, nice. So basically, you don't have to go any year anymore without The Witcher. Toss a coin.
It'd be cool if they got the voice actors from the games to do it.
Oh, so okay? So you're a game guy because I never once played the game.
Yeah.
I've only experienced the show, but you've experienced both.
Yeah.
Would you be more geeked if it was the game voices versus the TV voices?
I think so.
And it's probably cheaper for Netflix too.
Yeah. Because no one knows who he is.
Right.
I don't know his name, but
Does Henry Cavill do a pretty good voice compared to the computer voice.
Yeah, it's just like a little like Batman voice.
It's just like, you just gotta be gruff. You want to hear the funniest thing? My mom, she seems to think that The Witcher sounds like the Mandalorian, who she thinks sounds like Clint Eastwood.
What?
I'm like, there's no way. And she's like, no, I swear they all sound the same. And she even sent me like audio clips of all three. And I think what she's picking up on is the, like you just point out, the gruffness. You just need to have this voice like, I'm here to talk. I ain't taking no crap, and I'm going to be real gruff about it. You know?
Yeah.
I'll toss a coin to the Witcher and get my balls.
So you can voice a Witcher.
Yeah, anybody can do that voice, right?
Because he's so monotone as a character that anybody can do it.
Right, because they're the hero of all these stories that I think that she's picked up on is they're very intense. They're not meant to be the humorous part of it. Everybody else can be like the funny part around them.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where she's getting. She's like, well, I don't know if I like, because I don't like Clint Eastwood. I'm like, but this it's a completely different person, but their voices sound the same. I'm like, no, they don't sound the same. But yeah, so cool. The Witcher, it's actually going to be called Nightmare of the Wolf, and I don't know when it comes out, but sometime in 2020. My guess is maybe late summer, early fall.
Yeah,
because they don't want it to run too close to the premiere of the new season.
August.
Ooh, good guess. Are we betting? All right, he's gonna guess August. I'm gonna go later. I'm gonna go October because that sounds like a witchery type of month.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
All right, so moving over from our homies at Netflix over to our buddies at Hulu.
Hulu? We haven't been talking about Hulu.
Oh, you're going to like this.
Hulu?
Because Hulu is also bringing us some animation. And I think we may have mentioned this in previous episodes, that Disney is putting a lot of Marvel content on Disney Plus. But if it's too adult-oriented, they're going to put it on Hulu.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And I think we may have thought earlier that it was going to be maybe some of these, like, they have a few devil-y type characters, a little bit more aggressive than maybe your 7-year-old on Disney Plus shouldn't see. But what they're going with is MODOK, a cartoon version of MODOK. What do you know about MODOK?
He's a really big head, right?
He's literally a giant floating head.
Didn't they show him in Captain America?
Did they? Like, I feel like I remember people like kind of talking about MODOK, but I wasn't sure.
Because in I think it was Winter Soldier or one of them where they're at this computer base and he was like in the computers. Oh, was that him?
I think you might be right. I wasn't sure if that was like for sure or if that was kind of a fan theory. Yeah, no, it would make sense. So MODOK stands for Mental Organism Designed Only for Killing, which is hilarious in itself. And MODOK's always been kind of I think that probably whoever drew him originally meant for him not to be so silly, but it's such a silly looking thing. Like you said, it's a giant floating head. Yeah. And what I think Marvel and Hulu are doing that's pretty clever is they're kind of going along the Rick and Morty, Venture Brothers, kind of made for grown-ups cartoon style.
Like, show me what you got.
Show me what you got.
That's a good mashup right there.
Totally. But MODOK is actually going to be voiced by the one and only Patton Oswalt, who's hilarious. I mean, I've always liked him in everything he's done. He's a great stand-up. He's been, always kind of like the side character in a million different TV shows. Right. But they've also cast Amy Garcia, Melissa Fumero. You know her from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, my favorite show.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Amy.
Yeah, Wendy McLendon-Covey, who is the mom on The Goldbergs and was also on Reno 911.
Well, which one is that one?
The blonde.
Oh.
The blonde mom from The Goldbergs. Ben Schwartz, who you'll remember from Parks and Rec.
You're right.
Is Aziz's friend. What was his name on that show?
I forget.
It was always funny. Beck Bennett, John Daly, and Sam Richardson. So, I mean, that's quite the cast of voice actors.
Hey, this girl's from Lucifer.
This one? Yeah. What's her name? Is she Amy Garcia?
No, Amy Garcia's...
Her? No, I thought she was Melissa Fumero.
Oh, yeah. Maybe she's Amy Garcia. Oh, she's Amy in the show.
Oh, yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, Melissa's Amy in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at photographs for all those who can't see what we're doing of this. There's a pretty attractive cast for voice actors. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty. It says, they are slated to debut this year, which is very exciting. So we got all sorts of cartoons coming
Man,
this year.
2020 is like year of the cartoons.
Yeah, Year of the Cartoon, our animated series, if you want to be fancy. Slated for debut this year, Marvel's MODOK singles Marvel's first endeavor into animated comedy geared towards adults. So, I'm geeked for this one.
Didn't you say you were going to cancel Hulu?
I was until they did this, sons of bitches. My Hulu is actually free because I pay for Spotify and I have like a bundle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was talking about trying to upgrade my Spotify to Spotify Family since Boy Danger is now a teen and he's always stealing my Spotify. But you can't do the Spotify Family with Hulu as a bundle, which is totally lame.
Yeah, do it separately.
Lame. Get your ass together, Hulu. But yeah, so it looks like Amy Garcia will be playing somebody named Jody. Patton Oswalt is MODOK. Ben Schwartz is somebody named Blue.
I don't know any of these casts. I mean, like,
what's
characters.
funny about it is like they're all like regular people names.
Yeah.
They're no like superhero names. Yeah, I'm scrolling through this list. John Daly is Super Adaptoid, whatever that is. That sounds funny. I don't know what that even means. Oh, this guy.
Oh, he's funny.
Sam Richardson. I said it and it didn't even occur to me. Yeah, Sam Richardson is funny. I think the last thing I watched him on was the TV show The Detroiters, which was really funny. And he's the DJ / office worker on Office Christmas Party. He's like, whoop, 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 every time he DJs.
Last thing I saw him in was in Good Boys. Remember he was the cop?
That's right. He had a small part in Good Boys.
Yeah.
Excellent memory. Forgot about that. So yeah, MODOK on Hulu sometime this year. I'm totally down.
It's going to be on my list. I like it.
Yeah, no. So there you go. That's my streaming. Oh, I was going to check with you real fast. Since there's less things for us to specifically watch, the Mandalorians, The Servants, all those things we were kind of watching together. What do you watch streaming-wise right now? Just what are you watching and when do you watch it?
Oh, like last episode I told you I got back into The Magicians.
Okay. What else? So when you watch The Magicians, like, I don't know about you, but I have a show for occasions. So when I take my lunch break, I watch a specific show during my lunch break. When I'm with my wife, I watch a specific show with my wife. If my kids decide to grant us their permission to hang out, we watch, a specific show with them. Yeah. So like, do you watch The Magicians at a certain time?
Magician is my show when I get home and then lay in my bed and just to rest.
It's kind of a relaxing show.
Yeah, I watch it. And then I'm watching Lost in Space Season 2. Finally.
Yeah, buddy.
That's my lunch show. Finish episode 1.
It's a great show.
Yeah. And then I just finished, I'm sad to say this, on Netflix, V-Wars.
Wait, you're sad that you finished it, or you're sad?
No, I'm sad that I watched it.
You're sad to admit that you watched the entire series.
Because it's pretty terrible.
I've heard it was bad.
Yeah.
Bad. Okay, so you were watching V-Wars, but that's done. You're on to The Magicians, and you're doing Lost in Space. Is there anything else you like pushing there?
I think I might go into Clone Wars.
You're gonna start watching Clone Wars.
Yeah, because a lot of episodes to catch up on.
Nice. So I've been watching the Clone Wars at lunchtime. So that's my lunch break show because it's a half hour, and I can almost, depending on how quick I am with grabbing my salad and getting seated, I can watch a whole episode during lunch. We're watching with my wife. We've been watching at night The Marvelous Miss Maisel on Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah,
that's a great show. I know we always talk about like geeky shows, but if you're just into like a solid dramedy, it's not necessarily a sitcom, but it's a really funny drama about a female comedian from the late 50s. It's a winner. I really like that. And then when I'm going to bed, like, because I don't like to sleep in pure silence, I'll set the TV timer to kick off after I'm asleep. I fall asleep to The Office.
Nice.
I don't like to watch anything I've seen or haven't seen because I'll pay too much attention to it and not fall asleep.
Yeah, just like background noise.
Yeah. So The Office is my background noise show. So that's what I've been watching.
I forgot to mention, over the past weekend, we my wife and I, we binge watched Sex Education Season 2.
Oh, how was it?
It was good. Yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see Season 2.
Yeah.
Is there any developments for the characters? Anything good happen without giving any spoilers? Because I haven't seen it.
Well, it's just kind of like, how super like, what do you call the main character? Otis. He's like
Otis.
Yeah, he's like, um, what's the word I'm looking
He's
for?
a sex therapist for,
Yeah, he's
for
very
high schoolers.
he's very innocent, you know.
Yeah.
And then in season 2, he just kind of like broke out of that.
Oh, so he broke out of his shell.
Yeah, and like became more of, like, for example, he because it's his mom, he couldn't masturbate, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And then at the end of season 1, he finally did it, and he's like, "Oh shit," you know. And they explore more of that. It's pretty funny.
That's awesome. Is it wrong for me to say that Gillian Anderson plays his mom, and I never found her attractive when she was the co-lead on X-Files?
Yeah.
That I find her actually pretty hot now. She's a total MILF.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she had her nose did. Maybe it's the blondish gray hair she's rocking. But like, I'm down with Gillian Anderson now.
I think they kind of push her boobs up too. Like,
really?
It's
plus they're letting her rock. Is she really English or is she faking it? I don't even know. But she's rocking an English accent, which just makes her like that much hotter.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gillian Anderson, X-Files. No, thank you. Gillian Anderson, way older in Sex Education. Yes, and thank you. May I have some more?
I feel like this show's like a really good like drama show disguised as like a sex show. You know,
Yeah.
If you look at it like it's sex education, you're like, oh, I don't want to watch that. It's kind of like pervy or kind of like, you know.
But it's not pervy. It's very cute. It's got like, while all the topics are kind of racy, it's not a racy show. I'd probably let my kids watch it because really it's about these kids going through all the things that all kids go through.
Right.
So yeah, great. That's a great show. Since you brought up just finishing stuff, I just finished Letterkenny on Hulu, and I've been trying to convince you to watch Letterkenny forever, and I've given up on it. But for anybody else out there who's not watching Letterkenny, give it a shot. It's so funny.
You're like the only person that watches it.
No, my mom watches it, and my kids watch it. So I got my oldest daughter and her boyfriend hooked on it. My mom's like next level hooked on it. So I've convinced a few people. But I'm telling you, everybody should give Letterkenny a shot. If you want to watch just one episode and see how funny it can be, season 8, episode 6 is freaking hilarious. I laugh so hard.
And it's on Hulu?
It's on Hulu. It's really funny. I mean, it's basically Canadian Hicks. I didn't even know that Canada had Hicks, but it's all almost like verbal wordplay. So they don't have a lot of locations or go to a lot of places. You got the Hicks, you got the hockey players, and then you got the Skids, which are like the gothic kids of Canada. And they interact and they just say funny things. And as you watch the show, because you have to give it more than one episode, you gotta give it like 4 or 5 episodes. Yeah. You start to realize they have these trends with the topics that they do and the things that they say, and you get totally into it because they get better and better as they go. It's all like wordplay. It's good stuff. So yeah, if anybody's like looking for a show, a half-hour sitcom that they've never seen and they're bored, give Letterkenny 4 or 5 episodes.
What was the episode again?
Season 8, episode 6. It's super funny. Super funny. So, jumping over from our Healthy Stream segment, I decided to name our next segment The Tasty Trailers. Yum, 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 yum. See, I made my own sound right there.
Official?
Like yeah, I don't know. It's just like, yum, 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 yum. So,
all right, it's official.
I saw this trailer. It's actually for a Netflix movie called Horse Girl. Have you seen that one?
No, I keep seeing like thumbnails of it.
Yeah, they're pushing it.
Not really watched it yet.
Yeah, so it's weird. So Horse Girl stars Alison Brie. You know her. She's a fame of Community and Glow. Yeah. She's the star of Glow and like a side character on Community. Yeah. She doesn't seem to age. In fact, I would gander that Alison Brie has some sort of Benjamin Button syndrome going on because she looks younger every time I see her. I don't get it. It's amazing.
She's still married to Dave Franco?
I think so. What a couple, right? Yeah. Like, add that to my list of power couples I want to hang out with. So Alison Brie stars as Horse Girl, and the concept, from what I could tell from the trailer, is her mom dies when she's older, and she has kind of a mental breakdown about it, like a lot of people might when they lose a parent. And she looks almost like she works at like a Kinko's or some lame job, and she has a horse that she likes to go and pet. But she starts to have almost like a psychotic break, and things are starting to happen to her. And she can't tell, and us as the viewers can't tell, if the weird shit that's going on is in her head or if it's really happening. Because there's some mention of, you remember Grandma when she used to say she was abducted by aliens? What did she say happened to her stomach? And she's like holding her stomach. Her dad's like freaking out because maybe he knows, maybe it's his mom, had a mental break as well. And so the people around her are super concerned that she's having a total psychotic breakdown. But she's quite certain that it's not, and these things are really happening. And then there's a bunch of quick cut scenes of like just all sorts of weird visuals. And it almost reminded me a little bit of Euphoria, because Euphoria did the same thing where you can't tell, is this a drug-induced thing or is there something weird going on? But yeah, so Horse Girl is interesting enough that I think I'm gonna check it out. So I would recommend that everybody like maybe at least give the trailer a shot.
It sounds like one of those shows where, you know, you gotta watch it to find out.
Yeah, for sure.
And my wife loves that stuff, dude. So
it's either gonna be amazing or it's gonna be freaking terrible.
Like, I just want to know what happens. You gotta keep watching to see what happens. You know, like
So the trailer though was intriguing enough that it caught my eye.
Right.
And I like Alison Brie. She seems like a pretty good actress. She was also in, she was in Mad Men. Remember, she was the secretary.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So
that's where I first saw her. That and the Community.
She's been around for like 100 years and doesn't seem to age. Actually, seems to be getting younger. So good for you, Alison Brie. These aren't as much trailers as there are some movie topics I've heard about. But did you see that they're making a Hunger Games prequel?
No, I did not.
Yeah, and they're focusing on like President Snow, right? That was his name. Yeah, as a youth. So kind of like what led to this whole Hunger Game thing, how he became in power. And I don't know about you, but I'm sort of interested. I'm not sure until I see a trailer, because the Hunger Games was one of those series for me that progressively got worse as it went, but not horrible. Like even the third one was, it was fine. But the first one was amazeballs.
Yeah, because I actually read those books too, and I have a copy of them.
Oh, nice. So you read the novels.
Yeah. And I liked it. And it was kind of like the first of those type of movies, right? Where they have all those like kids killing each other and like after like post Earth sort of thing. Right. And after that, everybody wanted to make. It
was one of the very first really well done dystopian type teenage tales that made like buco bucks. Yeah, I was like, I was impressed, honestly, by the first one so much, and it bought me a lot of leeway for the other two. The second one was pretty good, and then that third one I thought was kind of average. It wasn't as much of a fall off as say like Maze Runner, which is the same idea, or even that other one that was never good. What was?
Yeah, I don't know why people like that one. That one was like the worst one. Divergent.
Yeah, Diversion. So the first Diversion is maybe as good as Hunger Games 3, and then it gets progressively worse, so you just can't watch it anymore. Yeah. Maze Runner was my surprise of them. Like Hunger Games, the first one was amazing. I love it. But Maze Runner 1, I loved it too, and then it just got real stupid.
Yeah, it got really bad.
It took a hard right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess maybe I'll give it some leeway. I might be sort of interested, but I'm not certain yet. I also saw that they announced today that they are in fact making Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah.
But they have all new writing staff and all new like producers and directors. So the only people returning are the actual cast.
Right.
But you mentioned off air that you really didn't like Captain Marvel. Why?
I don't know. It was kind of
boring. Explain
boring.
yourself.
It was kind of boring. I feel like that movie was kind of forced on us, just so that we get to see Captain Marvel in the Avengers Infinity Saga.
They needed like something to introduce her.
Yeah.
I agree.
And like her character wasn't very likable, and she's very like
kind of whiny.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was bad, and I don't think Alison Brie, or I still say Alison Brie. Now what's her name? Captain Marvel lady. I don't think she is
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson. Oh my God, Alison Brie Larson. How about that? That could be someone's mashup costume for Halloween.
Is it Brie Larson?
Yeah.
Oh,
you're right. That's why I said Alison Brie and got confused. Alison Brie Larson. So Alison Brie Larson, the star of Captain Marvel 2 and Horse Girl. I don't think she's a bad actress. She's actually, if you watch her like in interviews, she's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
So maybe they can bring us back with the right writing, the right direction, get it more. You'd even mentioned earlier that wouldn't it be sweet if Taika Waititi Watati. Wait, we practiced this
It's
earlier.
Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, finally.
I'm gonna say it once. Just don't say anything. Taika Waititi. And now you can, every time we mispronounce it, you just drop that on top.
Yeah.
We actually went online to learn how to say Taika Waititi's name earlier today because it's wrong that we kept mispronouncing it, and that guy's so awesome.
Yeah, maybe he'll like give her a character, become like more funny and likable.
Yeah, so I don't know that he's involved, but if they did involve him, I would definitely watch it because of him. But yeah, if they bring on something like him, if not him, somebody like him that can bring in that, like James Gunn, Taika, those kind of Jon Favreau, those kind of guys, they're kind of like leading the way.
Yeah.
If they can incorporate some more people, it doesn't have to be guys, but some more peeps like that that understand kind of what Marvel's doing, that there's got to be almost a perfect blend of like humor and action and like heartfelt moments. You have to have all these things. You can't just have a character that's grating and irritating, which I think that maybe she was a little bit in the first movie.
Well, you know, in Endgame where her and Thor kind of interacted,
Yeah.
that was pretty funny. So
Yeah.
you know, what if like she goes with Thor, you know?
They could totally do that. I think that, I have hope because I feel like Marvel's kind of figured it out. And I think part of the reason that one wasn't as good is because I think you nailed it on the head. They shoehorned it in so they could get that character into the universe sooner.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. Cool. Well, I think what we're going to do is take a quick break, but I'm going to give everybody a hot tip on what's coming up in the news jacuzzi. What's bubbling up on this episode is we've got, can your balls actually taste things? I don't know. We'll find out. The death of Mr. Peanut. You know, screw that guy. Chicken of the trees. A frozen iguana story. And furries aren't heroes we needed, but they're the ones we got. Valet parking robots, and James Corden is a dirty ass liar. Oh, and a mummy voice. So you get to hear all that next after this commercial break.
Wow.
And we're back. So we're gonna get with what's bubbling up in the news jacuzzi. So my first story is one, I don't know that it's even necessarily a new piece of news. But I saw some people, it's one of these things, I think it's one of these weird factoids that gets passed around on social media probably every few years.
Right.
You see that with like factoids or weird facts or sometimes even like Snopes type stuff, like just lies. You'll see the same lie come up every 5 years with a different name attached. So this is true, a true fact. They're talking about how your testicles have taste receptors. And so everybody starts talking about, well, that's weird. My testicles have taste receptors. Can I, shove a piece of ham under there and have some hammy balls and, that kind of thing. But they were talking about what's interesting about it is no, in fact, your testicles don't taste anything, obviously. That would mean that your intestines and your bladder can too. Because, little known fact, all of those bodily locations have taste receptors and many more. Here's a brief list of some of your body parts that have taste buds. And these taste buds don't necessarily work the same way as the ones in our mouths, but the cilia, which is those little weird finger-like projections inside your airways, the cells of your small intestines, the cells of your large intestines, the lining of your nasal cavity, heart cells, the placenta, your bladder, and cells in your brain all have what they call taste receptacles. And so what happens is people take the funniest one, which is taste receptors in your testicles, and they start posting things like that. And that's what caught my eye because I'm like, damn. I go, that's crazy that your balls could taste stuff because I've never tried it. I mean, who would think?
So would you call like your tasticles?
Oh my God, that's genius. So quick you came up with that. That's so good. Tasticles. Now I want to start a company. We should start. No one steal this idea. We should start a business called Tasticles, and we sell like ice cream that you sit on. You're like, can you taste it? No, I can't taste it. Tastes like scrote. But Testicles is so good. The article says, like smell, taste is just a matter of your brain interpreting chemical signals from outside the world. Food enters your mouth, and the food that contains a wide variety of different molecules, it land on your taste buds and you taste them. So the hairs or the receptors, so think about all the little hairs on your body are considered receptors.
Right.
And so those are kind of what's being sciencey pushed into this taste receptor type area. So all those little testy hairs that are rocking around are, like I like to call them, pubes. Those are, they can sense things and tell you things, and like that's what's being perceived as taste. And so it was just a funny story to me. It was worth telling you about just to hear Testicles.
It's like my testy senses are tingling sort of thing.
Spider-Man's got something happening. He's like, wait, my testicles are tingling. Oh my god.
What if like you wax and you want, then what happens?
It's like burning your tongue.
Yeah,
you ripped off your receptors. You're like, well, it could be like, what if you had a superhero and his name was like Testy Man? We gotta think of something funny, like Super Balls, and he's like, his whole power is his testicles.
Testicle
Man. And he just attacks you with his balls.
Yeah.
I can tell your taste disgusting.
And he's just like, his finishing moves like teabagging or something.
His main power is he teabags you.
Yeah.
Gives you like the taste of tea. Genius. All right. Well, moving on from us devolving into third grade humor. This is probably my favorite story of the news jacuzzi today. But so what's happened is, as the winter has hit us, and I think I remember this story sort of last year, like a version of it, but it's definitely evolved because human beings are weird. The coldness hits places like Florida, and they have a lot of iguanas in Florida. And so what happens is, when the cold front comes in, the iguanas basically freeze up, and they look dead. A lot of people think they're dead, but they're not dead. And that was kind of the story last year. Oh, watch out for frozen iguanas. They're not really dead, because people were finding them around their pools, right, and things like that. And they were just frozen, but they weren't actually dead, because it doesn't take much, I guess, to make go comatose, hibernation almost. And so what's happening though this year is a pretty decent cold front's come through Florida, and the iguanas are freezing in the trees, and they're falling out of the trees. And so the warning was, watch out for falling iguanas, because iguanas are falling from the trees.
Right.
And so like that's cool, that's hilarious. But what's happened here, and I got a picture to show you. We'll post this on our Twitter. Is the Floridians, being all Florida like they can be, have started gathering all these dead iguanas that are falling out of trees. They're picking them up, they're skinning them, they're like peeling the skin off of them, and they're selling it on Facebook Marketplace as food. Where's your commentary? You're not saying anything. He just looks disgusted.
How do they do that? Like, does Facebook not care or what?
I don't know. So the story says, mango season may be months away, but if you live in South Florida today, your trees may be ripe for the picking of iguanas. Iguana meat, dubbed as chicken of the trees, which is amazing in itself, chicken of the trees, started showing up on Facebook Marketplace overnight. As the temperature dipped into the 40s, the green iguanas, are an invasive species, are stunned lifeless by the South Florida's occasional cold snaps, and they die if chilly weather holds. So they're falling onto the ground. So what's happening is, this is apparently makes for easy picking for these backyard harvesters.
Yeah.
And these Floridian fools are rolling out there, gathering them up, skinning them as almost if they've gone fishing and they're selling fish.
Yeah.
So they're also in several ads of these skinned and butchered iguanas are showing up looking like Peking ducks on Facebook Marketplace, which is a really easy place. I don't know if you've ever sold anything on Facebook Marketplace, but it's basically the new version of Craigslist.
Yeah.
You can sell any crap you want, and someone can come to your house and buy it. It says at least one ad showed what looked to be a freshly prepped garabo, which I guess is a name often used for iguana in Latin America. But it says, it's cold when Facebook Marketplace got that garabo meat for sale. Then it goes. The story says, "Can you actually eat them, or
Right.
should you even?" I mean,
I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
yeah. Have you ever had iguana?
No.
No, me neither. I'm trying to think if I've ever eaten lizard. Have you ever had lizard? I've had alligator.
Alligator. Yeah.
Is alligator a lizard though?
I don't think so. Wait. No.
Alligator tastes like dirty chicken. It's fine if you put enough seasoning on it.
Well, you know, we watch a lot of Naked and Afraid, and on the show they eat lizards all the time.
Yeah, because they have to.
And
But
I remember one person ate iguana on that show.
so, well, there you go. So the article says you absolutely can, in fact,
Oh,
eat
yeah.
iguanas as long as the food comes from a reputable processor, which probably is not some person's backyard with a
No.
dead. Because the thing about it is that iguana died, they spotted it, but how much time was in between that iguana dying and then picking it up?
Well, it's frozen. It's okay.
Maybe, but it's a cold snap. You've been to Florida. It's never that cold that long.
Yeah.
It says they are commonly hunted in Central and South America and parts of the Caribbean, and they are an economical source of protein.
Wow.
However, just like we're thinking, they're saying you shouldn't eat this stuff because iguanas that are treated like chicken from preparation to safety handling because they carry salmonella. They're very similar.
Right.
So I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be buying Facebook Marketplace chicken of the tree anytime soon.
I bet you we open up our phones right now,
Yeah.
iguana shows up.
Well, yeah, because the Echo and Surrey and all these fools are definitely listening to
Yeah.
us. Yeah. You think you could taste the chicken of the trees with your testicles?
Probably be safer.
Yeah, it would be. Well, yeah, it'd be, that area is used to fishy tastes. Too far. You could always edit that out, or not. I don't
Well,
care.
a show is not made for kids. So
That's right.
It's okay.
It's made for people who can purchase logos. Remember that, people. Half off still. Anyways, moving on from chicken of the trees. So, one of our favorite listeners, we're going to call her JP, sent in both the iguana article and this amazing article about a group of furries that stopped a domestic violence assault and helped the police make an arrest.
What the heck?
Now let's start. We need to
Is it mascot?
We need to we need to back up a tiny bit about what the hell furries are. You know what furries are, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure everybody in the world does. So furries are basically, how should we put it? Unique individuals that enjoy wearing full costumes, right, head to toe.
Yeah.
That are generally, they look much like mascots or
Animals,
yeah, cartoon characters, things like that. Like, imagine you went to the store and you saw the Kellogg Tony the Tiger, like selling Kellogg's or something. That's kind of what furries dress like.
Yeah.
There's a picture here on the article. It looks like a bunch of like different colored wolves.
Well, looks like that Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh yeah,
Right.
they're like Chuck E. Cheese people. So furries, they like to dress as costumed animals, and then generally, and I don't know if it's always the case, but in general, it's kind of a sexual kink.
Yeah.
So they're dressing as their weird cartoon animal furry characters, and then they're getting together and doing things that adults like to do, which is fine. You know, who am I to judge? I'm personally not a furry, but if that's your thing, whatever. I think everybody's got some weird kink that they don't talk about, but that's not mine. So anyways, this is something I did not know. There are furry conventions that they actually have in actual convention halls.
No way.
Yeah, yes way. Yeah, so
How come I never see him advertise it?
well, we're probably not on the right websites, but now, like you said, we're gonna get advertised iguanas and furry conventions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And people are gonna be like, your wife's gonna be like, "What the hell are you looking at?"
Especially because you looked up on your iPad.
I did look up. So apparently, this happened. So this woman. Let me back up a little bit. 6 people witnessed this woman getting assaulted by like an ex, maybe a boyfriend or a husband or something.
Right.
And reason they were dressed in their furry outfits in public, which I think is maybe sort of unusual. I've never really seen a furry in public. Is because they were attending the annual. So apparently this happens every year.
Damn.
The annual Further Confusion, or as they like to call it, FurCon. So Further Confusion, that's a clever name. I give them credit. So FurCon, which was happening in the San Jose Convention Hall, which is just apparently packed with all sorts of. I think, is it only dudes? I should do some more furry.
No, it's both.
Is women too?
I mean,
I feel like you've researched this more than me.
I mean, if you're having like sexual stuff,
Yeah, but
and
that
it has to be all genders.
Well, maybe.
I think it's all gender.
I think a lot of furries are weird dudes. Anyways, so the 6 of these furries witnessed this poor woman being assaulted outside of the convention center. They said the man was assaulting the woman in her car, so they maybe were parked next to it. There's actually video of this.
Oh, nice.
And so Robbie Ryans, age 26, was working as a DJ for the convention when he and a friend went outside for a smoke break. Out of nowhere, Ryan said, a blue car stopped in front of them. We heard a woman screaming coming from inside, and we saw the passenger throwing full fists at whoever was driving.
Damn.
We got up and ran towards the car. My friend pulled open the door, and we both held onto the attacker. The girl driver was yelling for him to get out as he was starting to fight us off. So it was a female driver. The significant other was straight like punching the lady, which is like
she was driving.
Yeah. Well, First of all, men never hit a woman. First of all, we shouldn't be hitting each other anyways. Yeah. But like, never hit a woman. That's crazy. I mean, who does that? So the DJ and the buddy, who I'm guessing is a furry, sort of yanked the guy out of the car, like, trying to pull him away because he's trying to beat the hell out of this lady because who knows what they're arguing about. 4 other convention people, furries, came running over and helped grab the man. They dragged him in the car and they kind of like restrained him. So he straight up got himself into a little furry orgy by accident. But yeah, that's not how he expected his day to start. Once they kind of had him restrained, the popo came and arrested the guy. But it said that the DJ, he said once he felt everything was calmed down, he's backed up and started filming it with his cell phone. That's why there's cell phone video of it.
Right.
I'll post this too because it's interesting enough to see furries wrestling around with this guy. But what a story, right? Can you imagine if you're this lady and you're cruising and you and your man, you're getting into whatever fight that becomes that kind of physical that you're going to be rescued by a bunch of guys in colorful wolf outfits?
Maybe the lady's like driving and she's like, you know what, honey? I forgot to tell you about I'm a furry. And he's like, no.
He's like, hell no.
She was actually taking him to the furry con.
She was surprising him with the furry con.
Yeah.
Guess what I got us? He's like, no. Maybe he's the victim.
Yeah.
We were like all mad at him. He's just trying to escape from having to get furried.
And she knew that, with her people, she will get help, It was a trap.
It was a trap from the beginning. Oh my God. What a story. What a story. These things that are happening.
Yeah, I need to watch that video.
Yeah. No. It looks to me from the screenshot of the video that the furries are wearing their costumes because you can see their big ass furry tails, which is real weird. But none of them seem to have, because I guess because it was a smoke break.
Yeah.
None of them had their masks on.
Oh, right.
So mask off, Moving on to our next amazing story. This one we talked a little bit about a couple episodes. Was it last episode or the episode before? Yeah, it was last episode where we talked about 2020, the future is now.
Oh, yeah.
Was that last episode?
Well, no.
Or was it the episode before?
The episode before was your lists.
The lists. But when was 2020, the future is now? It doesn't matter.
Flying cars.
Yeah, flying cars. So we recently talked
about... I think it was last episode.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah.
Beside the point. We recently talked about the future is now, and I still keep my eyes peeled for those types of articles. And I came across one on the website Mashable. Do you ever go to Mashable?
No.
Mashable is pretty cool. So we talked about the Awesomer last episode, and Mashable is kind of like the Awesomer, but it's more like they'll post pretty much anything. But they got a lot of like fun tech stuff. It's a mashup of tech news, and so they came up with this story, and this is something that's happening. So that's why I like it. You always talk about what may or may not happen someday.
Right, but this is actually happening.
This is happening right now, and so this guy, his name is Stanley something. He owns a company called Stanley Robotics. I almost said his name was Stanley Robotic. Mr. Stanley Robotic himself. So Stanley Robotic started working on this business idea he had, which was creating, it almost looks like forklifts. It's like robotic forklifts that can pick up and move cars. So Stanley Robotics has developed this autonomous fleet of robots that basically runs around parking lots. They forklift the car and they move it into position. And so they've opened one, and what they're doing is they have basically valet, and they've started at airports. So the first airport to have this, and I guess it's been running for a little bit now. The concept came around in 2015, and I guess 2020 they perfected it. So 5 years later, The Paris airport has it where you can drive up to the Paris airport, and I'm sure people who have a little bit of money know you can just drive to the airport and get your car valet parked for you by human beings. Anyways, pretty much any airport will do that. But this airport you can go to and you park it in like this little garage, right? And the garage opens up on the other side because the other side is the big parking lot. And this autonomous robot comes in, grabs your car, picks it up, and goes and puts it in the car parking spots. And because it's all robotic and the whole parking lot's wired for this thing to move around there, almost like the robots that are pulling your groceries these days. Yeah. We talked about that at Walmart. Because it's even bigger. They're moving cars. They're able to park them so close together because no one has to get in it. Because it's picking up either by the front or the back and forklifting it up and moving it. No one has to get in the doors. So they're able to park these cars literally inches away from each other. So they're saying they're able to maximize parking lots by getting over double as many cars in a parking lot as they could before.
So the future is robots.
Yeah, well, I think we know the future is robots, but it's kind of interesting to see all these different ways that they're coming up with using them because I would have never even thought of that.
I feel like I've seen that in movies or something.
Well, the Japanese have had these almost like robotic buildings where you can go in on the bottom floor of a parking structure and you pull into a spot, you pay the machine, you get out and you go on your way to do business work, whatever it is. And it moves your cars around automatically via elevators and slides them into spots. Yeah. So that's existed in Japan for a while. But this is like the video that I watched shows like a big old parking lot. And they're able to kind of like load the cars and they're just like one right next to each other. And then when you come back, you just like scan your card. The robot goes and fetches your car back and brings it back to you. So it's really pretty neat. And the fact that it's happening, this isn't like some concept. Because how many videos have we seen of like, look at this cool concept that can happen one day. This is actually happening. You can just scan your phone to bring it back. It's super cool. Yeah. So, future is now. That's a cool story. I'm excited to see if maybe these will come to America. The Paris airport's a big one, so it makes sense that they would go out of their way to really maximize parking spots. But yeah, if anybody's ever in Paris, try that out. It might be kind of cool. My next story, moving on. Hold on. Uno momento, por favor. The death of Mr. Peanut. Have you heard about this? It was trending on social media.
Yeah, because it was like supposed to be a Super Bowl commercial, but they like...
Well, that's the thing about Super Bowl commercials. I think we should have a nice section of Super Bowl commercials when we get a little bit closer.
Yeah.
The trend seems to be, and I think it's a marketing thing. As marketing guys, it's clearly a marketing thing, where they want to get more... They want to maximize their money, right? They're spending a lot of money to make these commercials happen. And so almost every big company pre-releases their commercial before the Super Bowl. It used to be, back when I was a youth, we would hang out and get so excited. A lot of people don't even care about football, and they came for halftime, and they came for the commercials. You know, they wanted to see the Budweiser horses. They wanted to see the crazy thing Pepsi did. You know, all these companies always, Doritos. The Mr. Peanut Company, whoever they are, I can't remember if Mr.
Planters.
Oh, thank you.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Planters, in kind of an interesting marketing concept, has decided to murder their spokesperson in their commercial. So I don't know if it's something as simple as next commercial they'll resurrect Mr. Peanut, or if I almost wonder if they said we're tired with this and they're gonna like retire Mr. Peanut.
I think it's just like their way of retiring Mr. Peanut, but make it more like a PR stunt sort of thing, right?
Well, the PR stunt of it's pretty genius because they hire like the most random but name brand actors to be in it. Oh, I don't have this one saved. I remember one of them though was Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I can't remember who the other actor was. But the concept is they're riding in like the Peanut Mobile, they crash, they all fly out, and they're hanging on like a tree branch over a cliff.
It's like cartoons.
Yeah, but it's real. It's not a cartoon. It's like Mr. Peanut's the only one that's animated. The other two, it's like Wesley Snipes and this other dude who I can't remember. And they're like, I'm going to let go so you guys can, not all three of us, the tree limb won't hold all three of us, you know? And they're like kind of like trying to figure out which one of them is going to let go. And Mr. Peanut's like, I got you, homies, you know? And he lets go and he falls to his death. And then the screen pops up and it's like, Mr. Peanut, R.I.P. in 1968 to, 2020 or something. And I thought, what an amusing idea to get attention is a PR stunt to kill your mascot. Now, obviously, like I think you kind of alluded to, they'll bring them back in one form or another. but it's definitely kind of funny that it got enough attention that it was trending all day yesterday on the socials.
You think they got like a big commercial spot to where they're gonna introduce their new like mascot or something, like
Maybe.
Mrs. Peanut or something, you know?
Dude, that's a solid idea. I wouldn't be shocked if they kill Mr. Peanut before the first half, and then they introduce whatever's happening in the second half.
Yeah, like non-gender, just peanuts
Oh,
or something, you know?
yeah. You know what? I think you're onto something. All right, I'm buying into what you're selling. So, Mr. Peanut, or Planters, as you pointed out,
Yeah.
has realized that they've got an antiquated mascot. They like, how do we get away from this guy? He's, it's fun and everything, but he's Mr. Peanut. We don't want to exclude anybody.
Right.
They kill him off in a kind of a humorous way, and then in the second half, they bring out something that's not gender-oriented, new mascot. I like it. If I could bet on that on the Oregon Sports app, I would.
You think like in the marketing standpoint, would you rather have like a fictional mascot or like a actual person mascot?
Well, it's hard because we've seen companies do both, and so there's something to say about the fictional mascot, the fact that you can have them forever, right?
Right.
There's no expiration date. We've also seen where they'll use someone like an Uncle Ben or somebody. He's long gone, but they'll keep using him. Then there's fake people you thought were real, like Betty Crocker, not real, just a fictional thing. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think in today's day and age, though, even if you die, they can just bring you back.
Well, like, you know, like for example, Subway used Jared for a while.
That's right.
And he turned out to be
a petty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there's a
how does
risk
that-
in that. Well,
yeah.
that's another excellent point. Is fictional mascot, you control the narrative.
Yeah.
They can't do anything to damage
Like
your
beyond
brand.
that, you know.
Right. However, when you hire a spokesperson, you're right. They can absolutely damage your brand. I mean, now you're saying it, I can think of a few. Jared from Subway is probably the best example of a spokesperson who could damage your brand. But even sometimes the owners, right? So you look at like Jimmy John's. Jimmy John himself has really negatively affected his brand.
Yeah, he killed his company basically.
Yeah, he's injured the company by running around because it's one thing to be a hunter because I'm pro hunter, but to go out and kill exotic animals just for sport and then be all weird, like they have pictures of him laying naked on like a shark.
Yeah, a lot of like people I know won't eat Jimmy John because of that.
Because of that, and even if you're like, I don't care about Jimmy John killing animals, is a business person. He's got to be smarter than that, right?
Right.
So yeah, no, that's a fair point. So yeah, I think you've answered your own question. A fictional character is better than a real spokesperson.
And I hate Flo from Progressive.
Yeah, F Flo. She's
Flo.
the worst.
I know.
Some of them, but you know, it's Geico. It's Geico. No, it's Progressive. Progressive also had the Caveman. Or was that Geico?
I think it's Geico, right?
Geico then is the smarter brand of the insurance companies because they intermix. You notice they'll have like, for a while they had the camel, like, what day is it?
Yeah, hump day.
Hump day. And then they had the gecko. And then they had the caveman. They've had a lot of good ideas. So yeah, I don't know. I think we might actually use Progressive, but good on Geico. Their marketing's better.
Oh, and sometimes it might backfire. You know, like for example, the Sprint guy.
Oh right.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
That's excellent. Yeah, he was only famous for "Can You Hear Me Now."
Wait, he was in Verizon first.
Right. And then they got rid of him because they moved on to a new idea.
Yeah.
And Sprint came and picked him up.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh my God, the Can You Hear Me Now guys in Sprint."
Yeah.
Has it ever happened before? I can't think of a time when someone's used another. I have seen a few times though where smaller businesses will use people that look like a certain actor to almost make you think it, and it's not really.
Yeah, but then what Sprint did was they kind of like stabbed.
Yeah.
Like clap back at the
Yeah.
at Verizon, you know?
Totally.
So can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Yeah, that's a good point. So that's a fair point. Let's see. So we talked about Mr. Peanut. We talked about the iguanas. Oh, James Corden is a dirty liar. I just saw this morning.
Wait, he's the one that has a late show, right?
Yeah. So James Corden's awesome.
Yeah.
He's that funny chubby
karaoke.
car karaoke.
Yeah.
He's that chubby British kid that does like the Late Show on CBS. He's really funny. I thought I don't want to sound weird, but I thought he was gay, but he's got a wife and kids.
Yeah.
He's just really No, more sensitive than me, I guess.
Well, he talks about his wife and kids all the time.
I don't actually watch that show, but I really like him. So it turned out, you mentioned car karaoke.
Yeah.
And it's like one of his more famous bits that he does. Someone took a photograph of them doing car karaoke that wasn't part of the production team, like a regular bystander.
Yeah.
And turns out he doesn't drive the car. The whole thing's on a tow truck.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel so lied to. Like, damn you, James Corden.
He's all like turning his wheel.
Ruin the illusion. Because I think we all know when you see movie segments and they're driving around, we all know that they're not driving the car.
Yeah.
Because they got to act. But I always assumed that he could drive the car and like make his jokes at the same time.
Oh.
Because that's the only James Corden I watch. Because I don't stay up late enough to watch the Late Late Show. I always watch the car karaoke stuff on the YouTubes.
He's a dirty liar.
He's a goddamn dirty liar. What was funny is talking about clapback. Is you ever watch Cash Cab?
Cash Cab.
Cash Cab is a game show that's on. I don't know what channel it's on now. I think it started on Discovery Channel. It's been on for like 1,000 years, right? So Cash Cab, the concept's amazing. If you haven't seen it, you should look for. I bet you it's on Hulu. So the guy pulls up to pick you up as a cab driver in like New York, and you get in the car, and he's like, "Oh, you're on Cash Cab. You're not really in a cab at all. Do you want to play?" And he explains the rules. And it's basically. I'm going to drive you from here to wherever your destination is, so you really get to go where you want. You don't actually have to pay me. But I'm going to ask you questions, and as we go, each question progressively gets worth more money. You have kind of like the old Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You have 3 things. You can ask a stranger. We can pull over and you ask a stranger on the road for an answer.
Like your lifelines?
Yeah. You could call a friend. So you could have like 2 chances or something. Like so, he has some chances, right? And then as they go, they earn money. He's got all these lights that like shine over on it. And as they drive in from destination A to B, they win money or lose money. Sometimes you don't win anything if you screw up. But it's a funny, gimmicky kind of game show. And he clapped back when he found out that James Corden is a goddamn dirty liar. He clapped back and said, "Oh, if I'd only known, because I've been driving this whole time." So he hosts a freaking game show in a cab in New York City, driving those crazy streets with just random people, and he's really driving.
He's actually driving?
He's actually driving. So good on you, Cash Cab guy. I can't remember his real name. Actually just started following him today on Twitter because of that little bit.
How did that photo not come sooner?
That's what's surprising is that no one said it sooner. So either one of 2 things happened. A, they didn't used to do it that way, but maybe they had a close call.
Yeah.
Or B, it could have been maybe because of the celebrity. So the picture that was taken was the one with him with Justin Bieber that he did recently. And it could have been that Justin Bieber is worth so much money that his manager said, "We're not going to risk the liability of James Corden driving this car. We want a professional driver in this thing up ahead, pulling him really slowly." You know what I mean?
Damn it, Bieber.
Yeah. So yeah, of course, everything comes down to Bieber ruining it. So yeah, it's either one of 2 things. They just got real lucky with no one ever shown him before, or it's recently changed, or it changed specifically because of the celebrity that they had.
Right.
But anyways, yeah. Screw that noise. I don't like it nearly as much anymore.
Next time I watch him, like, he's not driving.
Stupid. Yeah. Hopefully, Corden's pretty cool. He'll address it and make a joke out of it.
He'll own it, right?
Yeah, I think so. So in my last story of the news Jacuz before we wrap up the episode and call it a day is it's almost a futuristic thing too. So scientists or archaeologists in conjunction with scientists have the archaeologists discovered a mummy. They dug them up from underneath some pyramid somewhere, fully intact, like one of the best mummies they've seen in forever. Like everything about this guy, whoever mummified him was a grade A mummifier.
Good rap.
Yeah, it is a good rap, and so everything's still intact. And so I'm like, wow, man, let's do something real weird. Who knows how they decided this is what they're gonna do? So they worked with the scientists, and they decided to use this great technology we have now with 3D printing. And they decided to 3D print this guy's voice box, his larynx, because it was almost perfectly intact. Yeah. So they were able to basically scan it, 3D print it, and then recreate it. And then they take a computer, they connect it to this 3D printed mummy voice box, and they would run sound through it, and they can tell a man who existed 3,000 years ago what he sounded like.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, like, talk about technology and like, what? I mean, so I heard it. I gotta hear what this is, 'cause I heard the story before I actually heard the sound, and it's kind of interesting. They said because of the tonality of it, that they believe, because this guy was like some sort of Buddhist monk type. I don't know. He was mummified for being a priest or something. I don't know. But that he must have, a lot of times when they prayed in the olden days, it was almost musical, like like this. And so they said his voice actually had that of like a singer, the way it replayed. So I have this is one of the few things we can play on our podcast without getting in trouble, is the voice of a 3,000-year-old mummy. And it's just a sound. It's a quick sound. It's really strange. Let's see if I can do this here. Hold on.
One more time. Creepy is the word.
That's the newscasters. They play. You just hear it go.
It's like he farted or something.
Yeah. So let me back it up.
One more time.
So all this technology, and that's what a 3,000-year-old mummy sounds like. But what's next? I mean, what are they gonna do next?
I know. They get James Dean's actual voice, dude.
Well, I would imagine they could already replicate that because we've heard him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing to me. I think more than the mummy going is the fact that there's a possibility, because we know a lot of characters from history, right? But we don't know what they actually sound like. We can assume what they may have sounded like because there are no recording voices.
Yeah.
The fact that they might have the technology to go back in time and tell us what Napoleon sounded like, or Caesar, or
well, that's because the mummy was preserved so
Right.
well, right?
Right.
How would they find like?
it's really it will come down to what they can find, or maybe the technology advances more to where they can take other things and make it work. So that's quite. So I guess the next big thing is which DJ is going to remix the 3,000-year-old mummy sound into like their remix.
DJ Doe. That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good, right? So with that, I think we're gonna say we're out. Everybody have a great day otherwise, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip.
Peace.
Get my balls and just